Welcome to the podcast What's Up AV Growth, where we dive into the future of the audiovisual industry and its growth potentials. In this episode, we focus on what AV companies truly hope for, not just today, but for the future. We explore concrete wishes and goals raised by companies in the AV growth project's needs assessment. We also interview representatives from participating companies and ask, how do companies view the opportunities of international collaboration and cross-border production model? And what could students from Finland and Sweden test, develop, or demonstrate in practice? AV Growth is an EU project led by TAMK, Tampere University of Applied Sciences, Film Tampere and the Swedish partner Yrkesnämnden för film och TV. One of the aims is to build a sustainable growth platform for AV companies in Finland, Sweden, Estonia and Latvia. We also helping develop the talents of the future. I'm adjunct professor Juha Suompää, principal lecturer in TAMK, and behind the scenes is the production team of our TAMK cooperative, owned by higher education students, and they are recording this podcast today. Today we are joined by professionals from Finland, Sweden and Estonia. Warmly welcome Ivar, Daniel and Mia. Now could you please tell your name, full name and company, and also open shortly to us what motivated you to join the AV Growth program? Ivar.
Hello, my name is Ivar Murd. My company is OY. We're based in Tallinn, Estonia. And my motivation for joining the AV Growth program was to achieve growth, to find new audiences and to build new partnerships outside of Estonia, because I think like most of the other internal markets of the countries represented here is quite a small market, and so the key to success and to bigger and more interesting projects seems to be like an outward look and to kind of set your goals for a more international audience, and that requires finding the right people, finding which stories have a possible outlet outside of your home market. And so that all requires work, and that's what the AV Growth program offers.
Right. How is it in Sweden, Daniel?
Yeah, I'm Daniel Besares. I'm representing Camera X. We're a Danish-Swedish company, and we have been operating for almost 7 years at this point. And we were actually tipped by a common friend of Fanny, to join AV Growth. And when we read about it, it was very exciting. And also very timely, because we are in a super growth stage, and I think we're super excited to join, and also because it was a 3-year program, so it's like committing to something.
Right.
So I think in that sense it's a natural growth, and also meeting colleagues from the Baltic region. I think is key for growing, and what everyone speaks about, not only in the Baltic region, but actually in the whole world, is to how do we co-produce, how do we work together across borders, and we are laying out a strategy right now to go that way.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
This is, motivation is in its place. How is it in Finland? Mia?
Hi, I'm Mia Palmgren, and I'm from Media Production based in Finland, Helsinki. And it's a company that has been around for, I think, over 20 years, founded by Anna Blom. And I think why we wanted to join AV Growth was everything that these guys already said. But about the growth, I think Media has done a lot of local productions, a lot of in Finland and for Swedish-speaking Finns. So the growth for us is more about finding a way to get our stories out to the world, and in that kind of finding ways how to maintain the company values and how to also build the values while doing that. So kind of really focusing on how to find partners and build an international network for our productions. That is the main reason for our big growth. And also the 3 years is really good because then you really get to also see other companies, how they change, but also of course how really follow how Yamedia will follow this change. So that's really exciting.
Right. Think about if you would have a magical cross-border collaboration remote control with you buttons like instant funding, perfect partner match or something like that, students assistanting, having superpowers. Which button would you press first, Ivar?
Well, I think the instant funding button is it's very inviting to press, but I think it's not much use in the long run. Like money disappears without the right people, so I think the button that I would press would be this. I guess a meaningful partnership button.
Sustainable.
Yeah.
Kind. Yeah. Daniel.
Yeah.
What is your control?
No, it's the same because at the end we are humans and building relationships is not only in the film business or in our business, but generally in the whole world. And as you say, it's like meaningful partnerships, people you can connect with, and if you have a great team, I mean, everything will come. Money, great projects, creativity, everything, you know. So yeah, people first, I believe.
Yeah.
Can you ask again?
Yeah, if you would have a remote control, a magical button which resolves all the challenges in tackling cross-border collaboration successfully, what would be the button you push?
Yeah, I have to agree with the guys again. It's about the people and finding the people and how to make the most. I mean, you're going to be working with people for years, so it's really about finding people that see the project as in the same way and have different perspectives to give. And it's kind of like a marriage, right? You have to really trust each other. You have to build that trust. It's a long process. So if I had a magic button, I would instantly get the trust going and find how to find the people that you really connect with without having to meet a lot of people before you do that.
Finding people whom with you can resonate with the ideas and
believes
push
in
things.
the project and in you and like you. Yeah, it's a long-term commitment.
So is it? I mean, if we focus on those that in here. That let's say personal relationship kind of focus. Have you have challenges in that? I mean, not finding the right persons. And Ivar.
I think it's more of like a question. Like sometimes you don't know where to start, like because. We are even though I'm smiling, I'm also a Northern European person, so it can be difficult to go up to someone and to say hello. This is what I'm trying to do, and nice to meet you. So if you have a program that is both educational but that also gives you like these tasks to do together, you kind of find a shared goal, and you can find this shared sense of humor that we have that crosses borders, and it becomes much easier to connect. So we need like these little training wheels to get started, and then we're okay. And I think it does this very well.
What other possible obstacles have you encountered, Daniel, in internal AV production? Possibilities?
Yeah, challenges. I would say maybe there's some cultural challenges, but I think you can deal with those if there's not chemistry, but connection with people. Chemistry, yeah, exactly. Thank you. Otherwise, of course, there are some political changes. Maybe there's not much money or support from the governments or the cultural institutions. So we're, fighting almost amongst each other for the small, money that there's there. But that also forces us to find new ways to, how can we find money? Can we cooperate? And I think, therefore, we are speaking about international co-productions, but because it's a global thing. And speaking about the film business is changing so much, the way we consume films, and there are no really formulas for how to do it. So it's a process, I think, and you will definitely find obstacles in every aspect of.
We've been until now having workshops in Finland and Sweden, and I already feel like we are a big family. We are getting there, but what comes to the global south, that's a different story, I think. But how do you feel, Mia, about the challenges in international processes, AV productions?
I think it's the same in any collaboration. It's always going to be something that clashes, and yes, there is the culture difference, there's different ways of doing things, there are different structures, different deadlines, and it complicates things, of course, but it also brings so much, so it's a trade-off. I think one challenge is the online communication. There's a lot of lost in translation happening, kind of, and like when you meet someone, there's the chemistry, there is the social awkwardness in a way, and it's like a good you get to know each other better when you're face to face, and then when you do everything online, or the most of things happens online or in emails or in WhatsApp or whatever you use for a tool to communicate. I guess it's also because of the cultural differences, but some emails can come across completely different than the person is intending to. So these kind of challenges I've had, that as a Finn, we can sometimes be quite direct, and not in a bad way. But then someone can be like, "Oh, this person is really angry," when it's just an email about, "Hey, I like this," kind of like these kind of lost in translation challenges I have found. Yeah. So then it's usually better to jump on a call or have a Zoom. But yeah, so usually it's resolved through communication in the end, but there can be some of these weird translations, I guess.
Do you find any tools, methods, or models which would make cross-border collaboration smoother? For example, when working with students or partners from another country. Any ideas in that?
It's all about communication.
Communication tools.
Yeah.
Whatever
finding a tool that works for everyone.
Right.
Respecting each other's boundaries, and I don't know.
I think you need to do some effort if you want maybe to connect really with someone. You actually need to go there, maybe in the first phases of the collaboration maybe. Yesterday Arto said that if you want to go to India, you need to be there for a long time before you can, do something. And I feel that we're humans, as you say. There's some chemistry, that there's some body language maybe, or other means of conveying something. How do you connect with someone? So, of course, there's a barrier with the online. But at the end, maybe you need to do some efforts. Travel there, go there a couple of times and meet, shake hands. Eat food.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anything. It's in the era of AI. Still, these. Physical things matter.
I agree.
Ivar, anything to add?
I think the best tools are shared goals, and so if especially when working together internationally, I think if there is a will and the desire to make things work, and on a political level, if things are funded and made possible, if the obstacles for collaboration are removed, then I think big things can happen. But I think those are the main tools that's needed: people and cash.
In the early days of your career, you didn't have any money, but you had ideas. And if you think about today's young talents, like students, higher education students, what kind of fresh energy and ideas they could bring to AV companies, game companies? What do you think?
So the young people could bring to their companies?
Yeah. I mean, if you think about yourself as a very beginning, dreams, hopes, and
I can answer.
yeah, absolutely.
Whenever because I've especially through the films that we've made with our company, we work with quite young people, and it's meant for a quite young audience. And I'm always surprised by how talented they are and how fast they work. You know, they don't have someone even my age, and I'm not that old. I still have this like 1 or 2 days where I need to sit down and kind of look through a cut and kind of think of something, and they can just do it. So the turnaround times are very fast, and I think this is definitely this is something that's very positive, because it can increase the amount of work that can be done without inducing burnout.
They don't think the risks yet.
Yeah, and I hope they never will.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, I think I remember me, I was young, but I think there's some energy and some forward-going momentum. As you said, they're fast, and I think that's what maybe you need as a young person. I mean, what do you have? You don't have money, you don't have skills, but you have time, right? Use of that time, and go for it. I mean, and I think now we have an intern in our company, and she's young, and she's like, wow, coming with new ideas, and we're developing some cool stuff with her. It's like, wow, this is needed as well in our organization, I believe. So we're making room for that person to also make mistakes, also learn, but important to grow. I mean, there's a process that is together.
So is it a kind of catalyst thing? What
I think so.
Yeah,
it's like a brick of energy, and if that person is motivated, then it's even more fun for everyone, And because I think there's a teacher-student relationship that is, the teacher wants to teach the things that we have learned, and pass to the new generation,
In animation, I think collaboration is very, like everyday thing with students, younger internships and so on.
Yeah, and animation is, I think, from the beginning also you have to collaborate. Live action, you don't always have to. So with animation, there's a need from the get-go. You're gonna be collaborating with other companies and people.
Yeah. We will, in the next steps of the AV growth program, we will form an international student team, 15 higher education students from Finland and 15 from Sweden. What concrete things would you like students to test or demonstrate in developing cross-border model? What would help the companies? What do you think? For example, co-production simulations, VFX, virtual production, managing cultural or language differences, piloting service design, simulations, market reach, or content creation. What do you think? What would, if we have a 30-student team testing, what would be the dream, tool would you like to be tested?
Piloting, I think there's something interesting there. If you have a team creating a short film or a demo or something like that, I think that's for a production company really valuable, because then you can immediately see, or even if you have a possibility as the producer to even be involved before making that would be a really, because that costs a lot of money for a company, so that would be a really interesting tool, I would say. As a producer, I would be really interesting in that. And I think the economy or the business the industry is moving more and more towards this kind of proof of concept field or atmosphere. I don't know the word. So I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, like a cross-border tool.
Yeah, if possible. I mean,
Possible. Maybe it's a way to convey some ideas fast, as you say, proof of concept, mock-ups, platforms. I mean, there are many platforms today, but a specific tool, maybe it should be an adaptable tool depending on where are we speaking to. It's a hard one to answer.
Yeah, I know.
I think if one of the and if I understand correctly, I'm not from Finland or Sweden, right? But I think if one of the challenges right now is a decrease in funding, I think one of the things that would be really wonderful as a joint project would be some kind of analysis of what is lost when there is a decrease in funding, and if it is raised, what could be gained? Because I think this kind of information, which I'm sure there is plenty of, but maybe not on an international co-production level, I think that could be useful in helping formulate policy in the future between the two countries.
I actually had a discussion with some producers from Middle East, and they have the same problem, how to reach out. And I think there was like someone asked, why isn't there like some kind of international standard or like go-to website or like gathers all the resources for international co-production? I mean, you can gather all the tools, all the documents, grants, like in this.
Wow.
Where do you start? I mean, right?
Yeah, wow.
And then you can like, okay, I want to go to Latin America, or I want to go to Asia, or okay, then you jump to this, page.
Right. Oh, wow, that would be a dream
Like
thing.
everything is
Even
there.
for producers, that would be
Yeah,
amazing.
and then you have like templates for whatever,
Yeah. Okay, guys. Lastly, what would be a one very wild, unexpected idea you would love to see students experiment with during this project, even it sounds totally crazy right now? Last words, please.
Like content-wise or
Anything,
anything? Okay.
but crazy. I mean, dream thing, crazy. Student testing, experiment.
They can come up with 100 better ideas than I can. So
Good, Daniel.
I don't know.
100 better ideas. That's awesome.
How do you merge game and video companies together with a casting? I don't know.
Well, very good.
Create one
But
company.
very
launch it.
needed. Very needed. Mia, any
I'm
last
gonna
words?
Agree with Daniel.
Okay. We are sharing the same. We are almost the same family, as said already. Thank you, Mia, Daniel, Ivar, for this episode. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.